Hi there, Smart Drivers. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about the story that a car tells. I'm currently buying a vehicle for a friend, $5,000 budget, so it's a bit challenging, and it's a second-hand vehicle. So we're going to talk a little bit about today about the story that a car tells and how to interpret that story. Stick around. We'll be right back with that information. So a friend of mine's looking for a vehicle. The budget is $5,000, which isn't much, and I know that I'm going to be looking at a 15, maybe even a 20-year-old vehicle, so I'm looking at Hondas and Toyotas, something that's got 200,000 kilometers on it, probably about 80,000 miles. This morning I went and looked at a Civic, and the story it told told me to offer the owner $1,000 less than what he was asking, and of course he turned me down flat, didn't even come back with a counter offer, and so I walked away. It was a Honda Civic 05. It had 220,000 kilometers on it, which is about 100,000 miles, which isn't terrible. You're still going to get another 60,000 miles, another 100,000 kilometers out of that vehicle if you look after it. It looked all right. It was dirty. The owner hadn't kept it clean. Everything looked all right. It was a 5-speed, took it for a drive. As soon as it went out the laneway, though, there was a bit of snow there, and it just slid, and the ABS brakes activated. I'll put a card up in the corner for you on ABS brakes if you don't know about those. That was okay, but it danced around a little bit more on a bit of snow and ice. I came back, put my hand on the tires, and realized the tires were completely bald on it, so it needed a set of tires. So there you're into $600 or $700 for a Honda Civic. The windshield was broken, and that's about $500 to replace the windshield. It was actually cracked. It couldn't just be fixed on a chip repair. The clear coat was coming off on the car, which indicates that it probably has never been waxed. The Civic symbol on the back was missing as well. All the lights worked, the sunroof worked. It was a nice driving car. Of course, the Hondas are. The last telltale for me was that the reverse lights didn't work on it, and I actually got the owner to come out and help me with the reverse lights because I thought maybe the car had to be running. Even when we turned it on and got the engine running, the reverse light still wouldn't come on. So that was kind of the deciding factor for me, that the car hadn't been looked after. The driver was just driving it to work and wasn't maintaining it that much. So it brings into question other things that need to be done on these Civics, timing belt, those types of things. And then the last piece for me, the kind of crunch of it was, the clutch pedal wasn't worn, so they're not riding the clutch, but the stick shift, the shifter, transmission shifter inside the car was all worn on the front of the shifter, which indicates to me that the driver, when they're driving, has their hand rested on the shifter, which is not where you should have your hand when you're driving a manual transmission. Find someplace else to put your hand. Don't rest it on the stick. So that was the story that the car told. As I said, I offered the owner $1,000 less than what he was asking. He just flatly denied, didn't even come back with a counter offer. And I just said, thanks for your time, and walked away. Know that all cars, the price for a car is negotiable, even if you go for a brand new vehicle. And we'll do another video on here on negotiable. So if you're trying to sell a used vehicle, know that it has to be maintained. It's not an asset. It is not something that's going to keep its value unless you maintain that vehicle. And that's just something that is part and parcel of owning a vehicle, that it's going to cost you money. They don't appreciate in value. So for another video, click here. To subscribe, click here, somewhere else on the screen. And remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great day. Bye now.